Do you feel that you're inferior to others? Watch this video to find out more and how to deal with your inferiority complex. Let's get it.
I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumedh Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state consultant, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I'm speaking about inferiority complex. Do you feel like you're smaller than others? Do you feel like you're more inferior than others? How do we overcome this? We have this sense of comparanoia, which is the sense of constantly wanting to compare to other people. Now we already know this idea of, compare yourself to yourself yesterday or compare yourself to your future self. However, that doesn't really give us anything tangible to actually work towards, right? Of course, yeah, compare yourself to your past self. We know this, but what do we actually do to change out of the mindset of inferiority? The first thing to understand about the inferiority complex is it's often associated with something emotional. I could be like, oh yeah, this person, this very famous sculptor is a way better sculptor than me. However, it doesn't really matter, right? There's no emotion attached to it. When there is emotion attached to that area, that specific niche is yours perhaps, you start looking at all the competitors. Now, this is actually a very healthy thing to do, to look at all the competitors and be like, okay, am I as good enough as this person or that person? However, you're gonna get very in your head and not enough in your body, you see? So the first thing to do is start to get very deeply embodied and understand that who you are is a very unique expression. You are a very unique fingerprint, and there's no one on this earth like you. Your life experiences, your different skill sets and dynamics, the things that you learned specifically to you, no one can see the world through your eyes. No one can hear the world through your ears. No one can, touch the world through your fingers. So you have this self-image, and you're creating your self-image all the time through your self-talk. A lot of people are programming their self-image by saying, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. You've started programming yourself for a very long time. Now it's time to break that chain of command and get to the root cause and understand that what is it that actually makes me feel like I'm not good enough. You're going to need to build up the skill set of reframing. Have the thought out loud, I'm not good enough because of this. And then try and find what is the opposite of this thought and try and break the limiting belief. Like, if you had a table, the legs are the belief systems, right? And the top is the self-image. So if you crack open some of those legs, the table is going to topple over, right? So in a sense, that's what you want to do, is you want to get to a point where you can reconstruct how you see yourself. One of the biggest reframes, I got this from my mentor AZD, is instead of saying I am nowhere, saying now ... here. I'm now here. Instead of saying I'm nowhere, which means that you're lost and you're like, oh man, I'm going nowhere with my life. Instead, it's like the arrow pointing like on a lot of those maps, right? I am now here. And that gives you a coordinate. That gives you, okay, I'm starting from point A and now I can figure out what point B is. You can't compare two flavors of ice cream because everybody has different preferences for ice cream, right? Some people are allergic to certain nut flavors, right? Doesn't mean that you have to stop being a nut. This is a weird example, but you get what I'm saying, right? So this really comes down to you building your self-esteem. Build up your self-esteem, you have to start from loving yourself completely and wholly and accepting yourself for where you are. Get to that place where you're like, I love you, I accept you, I'm here to help you grow. Because what does inferiority do? It stops people's growth. It happens through self-rating. So you might be saying, man, I don't deserve her. She's like a 9 and I'm like a 3, right? You might have that kind of a comparison scale, right? We do these comparison scales to try and, understand how we rate ourselves. So if you're rating yourself a 3, there's a lot more happening right behind the scenes that is making you rate yourself a 3. You're already creating this dynamic where other people are higher up in the scale than you. So this is a game of hierarchy that you're playing with society. Society has conditioned you to think that some people are up here and some people are down here. And yes, we can compare it through like, okay, I'm not getting enough finances as this person isn't as good looking as I am. This scale doesn't exist in the spiritual realms. Okay, so this is why I recommend that you get into some kind of a spiritual practice where you start to see the interconnectedness of you with other people. Oftentimes, people with inferiority complex don't want to be a burden to others, and so they constantly people please in order to actually change themselves, but they're not changing themselves. They're keeping themselves in the same pattern. After this video, try and practice doing this, is right before you're about to do a task that you feel uncertain in, or you start comparing yourself to others, that comparanoia thing, basically, I want you to play a highlight reel in your mind of all the amazing successes that you've had in your life. I'm sure you can think of some. Even if you have to go way back into childhood to grab those moments and imageries and feelings, to start to play it like a movie trailer in your mind before you begin. Okay, this is a very powerful way to reprogram the mind. Of course, it's great to have affirmations and, repeat it 1,000 times to yourself. But the main practice here is you're going to have to change the character. You're going to have to create a character that you love being. If someone else called you a loser, you'd be like, no, I'm not. What the hell are you talking about, bro? But in your own mind, you're like, man, I'm such a loser, right? So the thing about it is really start to understand how you're speaking to yourself. And oftentimes when you distance yourself and use this third person narrative, this idea that, Sumedh is going to think like this right now. So away from yourself, right? So you really start to understand that, they would have reacted like this. And so I'm reacting like this. And when you say I, that is the I of your wisest and most loving self. Not the I of the critical mind and the inner critic who's just, bashing you and trying to beat you up and bully you in your own mind. Let's say you did something amazing, you got into a university, and they're like, oh, congratulations, you got into the university. You're thinking that, yeah, they just want to say that because that's just the polite thing to do, right? So you want to really practice accepting compliments. This is your next phase. You want to practice really feeling the thanks, really feeling the compliments, and understanding the genuine compliments. When you say you're going to do something, do them. That's the next thing. When you say you're going to do something, just follow through and do it anyway. Push through it. You feel the fear? Do it scared. Do it scared. That's the next evolution to your character. Of course, I'm a mentor, I'm a consultant, I'm a coach. If you have deep issues with this area, I've gotten myself out of inferiority complex. It comes up sometimes, but I know how to deal with it now. So I have the skill set to back it up. So I want to give you that skill set if you are struggling with something similar. I hope this video helped you out today. Give me a thumbs up, share it with a friend, whoever needs to hear this message today. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's get it today, okay? Boom!